Well, I guess we have a quorum, so we could now get started.
I didn't get a chance to do any of the stuff you sent. I don't think I had a chance to look at the
Okay.
minutes or
Well,
anything, but,
we can just go through. There were a couple of minutes, kind of older minutes. I
Thank
sent
you,
around.
yeah.
I don't know if anybody had a chance to look at them. I think that we might have looked at them previously, but do you want more? Just wait till next meeting to finalize them, or do you want? Are there any
what's
motions
another
to?
month?
It looked good to me. I wasn't here for one of the
Yeah.
meetings, so it was helpful to see it, but
So what's the consensus?
It looked good to me.
I'm ready to approve.
Take some motions
Okay, I'll
then.
just abstain.
Okay. So there, I believe it, February and March, correct? I think.
Right.
So, accept a motion to approve draft minutes from the Stewardship Committee, March and April, February and March 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Second, any discussion? Mike, aye?
Goodbye.
Eric, I.
Marcella abstain.
Okay, thank you. I'll try to keep them coming. Minutes.
Thank you.
Oh, boy.
So next item is introducing our interns, Owen and Mary Reed. I don't believe they're on. So there's 4 people on, and I see 4 people here. So I guess they didn't decide to join. They were invited, but that's fine.
Yeah.
They've been doing a lot of things already in just the first few weeks they've been here, and Mary's been away. I think we've kept them busy. They've finished up boardwalks at Robertson's. They built a boardwalk at Warren Brook. They've done some trail mowing at Steffens, some trail walking, looking for down trees and things like that, problems along trails.
That's
and
great.
I think some boardwalk repairs. And we have a big list of stuff for them going forward, which I sent around. But if you take a look at that list, and if you have anything you want to add to that, that's missing. I'm sure there's things missing. Just feel free to add things to it.
Are they kind of not motivated, but self-propelling? I mean, they've got this list, and so do they need Mary or anyone else to tell them what to do, or can they just check the list and say, let's do this today?
Well, I think when Mary's back, she'll kind of have
Prioritize things.
more of a supervisory role, but they came on board just less than a week before when Mary went off on vacation. So they've been coordinating with me a little bit, but Mary put that list together and I added to it. So I think there's plenty of stuff for them to do. And some of these things, when we get to this project list, some of the things involve them, and we can talk about. So they're not here, but Owen is back from last year. He was super last year, and Mary Reed is fitting right in. I think she's going to be really good too. Owen is I think going to be a junior at Amherst, UMass Amherst, studying environmental program, and Mary Reed is I think she's long term. She's interested in landscape architecture with an environmental bend to it. So, and she's from Rhode Island, I think. Okay, so anyway, just to get down through this list, once again, I've just listed everything. Some of these things, it really hasn't been any activity on the last month or two since we met. I guess it's 2 months since we met. But I'm just keeping them on the list so we don't forget them, and eventually some of these things will get done. This first Sweet William Farm sign replacement, the sign has arrived and it's in the basement of Town Hall, ground floor of Town Hall. So I think that'll be an intern project to install it soon.
Right.
Crockett, I haven't looked at it, but hopefully it's as advertised. Crockett Road, Peppercorn Hillside. I haven't done anything with that. I don't know if anyone else has. Eagle Scout Boardwalk project. I believe Kyle, that's the name of the scout, is going to be working on that this spring if he hasn't already. He hasn't. Last I contacted Kyle, or he contacted me, I needed to sign some paperwork for him, and that was maybe a couple of weeks ago. So I think he's pretty close to getting that work done.
And that's a boardwalk?
It's a boardwalk at near the Peppercorn Conservation Area bog. There's been some beaver activity, and it kind of has raised water level a bit, and it's going to be about 100 feet of plank boardwalk.
Right.
So Eagle Scout Boardwalk project, got that. Robertson family boardwalk. The boardwalk's been finished, all done. One thing I added to this was the potential for a bench at, if you know that area, there's this overlook over Warren Brook. Be a nice place for a bench, and that might be an intern project too, to build a bench and install it. I don't know what folks think about that. No objection. We'll kind of add that to the to-do list. And the other thing, so the trail bridge, we passed over a town meeting, additional funding for that trail bridge, and had a site walk with DCR and with Catherine Robertson, and Catherine has very generously offered potential trail alignment that would run along Warren Brook from the existing trail easement, and then actually across her lot, her building, where her house is on near the brook. It's by far the best alternative to a bridge. I think the other two alternatives would be one of them would have to go on someone else's property, although I think they may be amenable to it, and the other one would stay on Robertson property, but it requires some pretty significant, daunting, almost switchbacks. So I think where we're at here is that Kathy would like us to flag the trail, and then she'd take a look at it. And if she's okay with the proposed trail, then we'd have to, memorialize it. We have to probably hire a surveyor to survey it, and get a trail easement drafted up and signed by the town and by Kathy. So stay tuned on that. I think I'd like to try to have a site visit to flag that trail maybe sometime in June for our next meeting, if possible. Let's see. By the way, the reason I'm kind of disrupted here is I have a dog who's looking for dinner, and I almost hesitate to say that word.
The T word?
The D word, yeah.
Or the T word?
The what?
Is it the T word or the S word?
It's the
SNACK or TREAT?
It's the D word. And in this house, it's well, there's several, but one of them is D for.
Can they spell it?
Possible.
You don't want to risk it?
This one in particular, I wouldn't put it past her. She's like, it's Lulu, Marcella.
Oh, Lulu.
Lulu is somewhat of a canine Einstein. I think I really, I'm okay. I'm kind of probably biased, but she's a pretty smart dog. Her ancestors ran around the Middle East for 10,000 years and managed to survive. So, I think she's got some of that instinct. Hi, Scott.
Yeah, sorry I'm late, guys. Had a little internet connection. I'm traveling in New York here, so I had a little problem hooking up.
Well, thanks for joining us anyway. And
Sure.
We'll move on from discussing Lulu to more interesting things. Okay.
I don't know.
Lulu
This
is
is either-
left, by the way. You know, she's left the room. So. Okay, so next is Center Brook Conservation Area Trail easement. Good news there. There's 2 easements that need to be negotiated before we can potentially have a nice loop trail that would go along Dogwood Drive and Center Brook. And one of those easements has been recorded. The one at I think at one end is 2 Dogwood. And then we have to continue to lean on the developer to help us out with an easement on the opposite end, where there was basically a planning error there. That we have not to get too much into this, but we have a strip of land that comes up to cul-de-sac on Dogwood Drive, but it only touches Dogwood Drive at a point. It was obviously meant to be public access to conservation land, but there's just it only touches by that point, and what we need to do is get the developer to grant an easement that expands the access from that point to maybe 5 or 10 feet.
It's a developer, not the owner?
Well, the owner will have to be talked with, or have to be discussed with the owner. But we think, at least, I think if you read the easement, the old recorded easements, there may be a path forward to do this. But Mary worked on the first easement, and she knows about this one, and she's gonna try to get this one worked out too somehow. Okay, Pixies Park Trail Opportunity. There's many of you know there's a over 55 development going on Mechanic Street, and there's going to be some open space associated with that development, which will provide us an opportunity to have a trail that goes from Pixies Park to Baker Pond. Marcella, you walked it. Any
Should be a
comments?
really nice trail, not a long one, but it for those people who walk Mechanic Street, it's a nice little detour so they don't have to walk on the street. And for people who live in the area, it's a great dog walking stretch. You hardly see any houses. It's a pretty the vegetation and there's berms along one side too that block the view from the development. So it should be pretty nice. It's a nice area. It's remarkably free of invasives. So if we can tackle the invasives from Pixies Park, that should be good. There's a lot of brambles and stuff, but I think the developer said they would cut the trail for us, so I'll let them deal with the brambles. And there's a bit of trash in there. I don't know if they were going to clean that up, but we could, one garbage bag we should haul. I think a lot of it's stuff that's floated up from Baker Pond.
Yeah, I think it'll be a nice trail. There's an old cut channel that the trail's going to run along from Meadow Drive to Baker Pond, pretty much. So it's got a little bit of history to it too. And I think the developer committed to building us a couple of small kiosks, trailhead kiosks. One would be on Mechanic Street, and the other would be on Meadow Drive.
When's all that supposed to get started?
Well, good question. The permitting, I think we're actually. I think we actually issued the notice of intent, the order of conditions for that one already. So, and I think they still may be before the planning board, but I'm not sure about their plan. But they're very close to getting both, getting the planning board permit, from what I hear. It's a over 55 development on fairly small parcel, but I think, can't remember the, is it six units, 8 units, something like that.
Yes, I think it's
Mm.
8.
8. And they're going to be, I think, they're going to be duplexes.
Oh.
So maybe there'd be some affordability there, you know, potentially. The other thing at Pixie's Park is there's we put up the sign several years ago, but we neglected to put up the second half of the sign, which is in the conservation office. And we need to have the interns maybe do that. The second half of the sign just acknowledges the donors. The first half had the name, but the rest of the sign is all set to go. Just need to acknowledge the donors. Similarly, we have some signs at ready to go for Haworth Glen. They're also sitting in the conservation office, and we can have the interns do install those signs too.
That's great.
Also interns, there's one boardwalk left to build at Steffens. It's a stream crossing, and we're the interns have already begun to work on that. They cut up some wood, some decking, 4-foot wide decking, and they know where it is. And the thing we're going to have to do is somehow get the stringers out there. We've got some 6x6 stringers at Steffens, part way up, but maybe about halfway in, and somehow we need to get those things to the boardwalk site. And so they're 6x6. They're really heavy. Maybe we can get Greg Trussell to help us drag them in somehow. There also be at least a 4-person job, and there a lot of it's uphill, so it won't be easy, and they'll probably need 2 or 3 of them. Okay, Whitney East Boardwalk, nothing new there. Just keep it on the list. Okay, the Haworth Glen Boardwalk rehab with Bob Hatch. We had a meeting with Bob on site a couple weeks ago. The interns were there, and Mary was there. And I think we came up with a plan. Bob's going to be getting us a final proposal back. The boardwalk's around 90 feet long. We're going to do put some ramps at each end of it where the existing boardwalk is pretty badly rotted out. And also have 30 feet, the proposals for 30 feet of a railing, fall protection, where basically wherever the height of the boardwalk is greater than about 30 inches, there will be fall protection, which there's none now. So stay tuned on that. Bob will need we need a big volunteer crew to help along with the interns when that finally gets built.
Is there a date that we're working towards?
I'd say sometime this summer, but I don't know. I think kind of waiting for a proposal back from Bob, final cost proposal. And we do have funding from CPA.
So it's good to go once he gives us the details.
Yep. And then he has to order the materials. So it could slip into fall. I don't know, but probably won't be happening anytime next month or so, probably. But it could slip into fall. It'd be nice if it happened when the interns were still working, so they can help them.
Yeah, and also, are we going to need to gain access through the Howarth property?
We looked at that. Worst case, Bob can get through the existing trail from the pump house, but there is we did kind of spy out access from Howard's, and that would be pretty good access, I think. But we need to figure out how to talk to Mr. Howarth. And I don't know if I don't know his email address. I don't know if anyone does.
Might
And
have not sure he does. Oh, he doesn't do email. Naomi does his email.
Mm,
So if I think I have her email address, but I don't know what I haven't seen him around much, and I've seen somebody else mowing
mm.
the field, and is he going to be doing any more cutting, any more forestry work on the
I,
property?
I think he's done.
Okay,
I
so
think he's done with that.
I am not sure, what the status of the property is right now. I want there's it looks like it could either hold a mailbox or a for sale sign. There's a post.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty substantial.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's, but if we're going to speculate that maybe the Howitts are going to be selling the place, then, I think the sooner we negotiate with them, the better.
Yeah. I
I'll see
mean,
if I have,
if you see, if anyone drives by there and sees him, please stop and ask and
yeah,
say hello
he
and talk to him.
stops us when we're walking down North Street, and we chat for a bit, and we have not seen him in a while. So
Mm,
he might be down on the Cape, or I don't know if he's got other things going on, but
mm.
anyway, we used to see him with some frequency, so if we see him, we'll definitely.
Okay. Okay. Maybe we can just write him a letter to us.
Yeah, he was very when the scouts built that bridge initially, he was really supportive, and he gave them access, and hopefully he'll understand what we're doing and be amenable to it.
Yeah, it'd be a lot easier in that way than coming down through the cart path from
Yeah, I think
the,
it's
from
covered.
the pump station. Well, let's try to keep an eye out for him, and I'll try to write him a letter in the mail and see what happens. Okay, Whitney Conservation Area hazard trees. We have funding from town meeting, but I haven't done anything with that. If anybody would like to take that on, feel free. We need to get a couple of quotes from some tree companies, and also we need to ask the abutter whether or not we can access their the trees through their property.
We just
Just to
talked
review, there's like
Cotters, or
oh,
is it just the Cotters that we need access?
Cotters, yeah, yeah,
The neighbors further down.
yeah. It's just the Cotters.
Okay.
I think that's as far as we
Okay,
need to
if
go.
we run into him when we're walking, I'll ask him when I see him, see if he's okay.
Okay.
Is a
We
verbal agreement satisfactory? Are we gonna have to come up with something in writing to make it official?
I don't know. It's a good question.
No.
Maybe
I'm-
just ask him. The same. And there's nine ash that need to be removed, and all of those are on town property. And then there's a couple of oaks, which are just on the Cotter side of the stone wall. So, and we propose to take those down too, because they're leaning over the town property. So he'd probably get a benefit there from losing those dead oaks. So you could let him know that if he allows to take those down, that'd be part of the project. So it's the 9 ash and those 2 oaks.
Wouldn't he be aware of that now, since we voted?
I have, I actually talked with him last fall about this, so he knows
Okay. Yeah.
we're thinking about it. So and then I think he kind of said access would be okay, but at that time we didn't know if the tree company needed access on his property, and at least one tree company would really like to be able to come in that way rather than
What damage to their lawn is a tree company likely to do? Like, should we
hmm.
this in the winter time when things
I
are
would,
frozen?
I would think frozen ground, yeah, be a good time to do it, because they'd have to come over lawn. Wouldn't be huge equipment, I don't think, but they would have to come over the lawn.
Mike, were we talking about maybe leaving like 8 to 10 feet or some sort of, residual?
We could, sure.
Yeah, I mean, it might be cheaper too to get the quotes to leave the bottom part of that
Yeah.
tree. Wouldn't impact us.
Maybe, okay. Yeah, we can ask for that.
And are we gonna need to have access to Five Fork Farms as well to do that?
No, I don't think the slopes there are problematic on the Five Forks Farm side. So probably not. Stay tuned. I mean, does somebody want to kind of take the lead on this one?
If it can wait to fall, I can do that, but I'm kind of tied up this summer.
Okay. But yeah, let's put it. I'll see if I can make some initial headway with it. But like we just said, probably to protect their lawn, it might be a frozen ground, like late fall project anyway. Okay. So 250th anniversary Concom tree planting. I don't know if anything's happened with that. Anyone? The Concom had proposed to plant a tulip tree someplace for the 250th anniversary.
The one thought was to plant it near town hall in the where the parking lot. Is that still
I don't know if maybe we should talk to Mary and see if she's had any conversations.
It's also a tree that grows quickly and grows tall. And do we want something that might fall onto town halls in the near future? I don't know how long lived they are. I
They
have
can be
one
very long-lived.
and it's not growing quickly, so I have my doubts. But anyway,
Well,
it's just
Heritage Park was also thought about, right? As well.
yeah. And in fact, I'm putting together a proposal to cover the cost of plants that, native plants that we want to replace the invasives with. And that's one of the plants I'm
Okay.
hoping to, got a bunch of trees and that could be one of them. I don't know where the money, I would understand that we're expected to cover, each department is expected to cover the cost of their own 250th thing. So at least that might be covered, but I don't know when the money will come in. So
I think Concom did vote to kick in something for the tulip trees. Yeah. So maybe we're probably looking at a fall planting maybe now. Anyway, so it's kind of lost the spring planting season. So should I keep that on, or maybe it should just be a Concom thing? You
yeah,
want me to
Maybe
keep
a
it?
Concom thing.
Okay, so I'll cross it off for.
let's kick it over to Concom. Like that makes a difference to you and me. Oh, those damn tulip trees again.
Okay. Let's see, District 9 Conservation Area Stewardship Plan. That's on me. No activity. Update trail maps. I have a friend who is a friend, and I think it's either her daughter or her niece is a GIS professional who lives in England, but she's visiting the States, and her specialty is maps. So I asked her, sort of contracted with her to do a map for a Metacomet property, but with the understanding that once we have a map from her. She'll provide all of the GIS files. Current GIS is called ArcPro that we're using, and then I'll be able to use that as a template for other maps. And so we'll be able to, I'm hoping once I have that template, we can begin to update some of our conservation area maps. And the example I gave her to kind of start with, letting her know, please, use your own expertise because that's her specialty. But I gave her the Hike Upton maps that we had done several years ago, and she kind of liked it. She had a couple suggestions, so we'll probably get something that looks somewhat like the Hike Upton maps. So stay tuned on that.
Okay.
But I'm happy to, to use that template for both Metacomet and Upton trails. Forest Heights. Well, the closing is scheduled for June 17th.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it's actually going to happen. The restriction holder has agreed to accept a payment to close out the old restriction.
hey.
And
And right to the Registry of Deeds and recording that as soon as the signatures are on the paper, or
pretty much, I mean, it'd be, I think the closing, the recording will take place, right after the closing on the 17th.
I'm sure Bill's got the engine revved. I think
Yeah.
he'll be very happy to put closure to this project.
A lot of people will. We're lucky if Lisa from Metacomet doesn't like expel Upton from Metacomet, after this one. It's been
Well, that's you and Chris more time to do other things.
so, but in terms of land stewardship, town meeting, gave the select board the authority to transfer care, custody, control of Forest Heights to the Conservation Commission. So sometime later this summer, I'm assuming that'll happen. And so it'll be on land stewardship to begin to, develop the trails and build a parking area, kiosks, all that fun stuff that we do. It's already a fairly well developed trail system on there that we've mapped. I think perhaps there's need for another segment of trail to create a big loop that I don't think exists right now. But so stay tuned. That'll be probably keep us occupied. I'm not sure if there'll be much to do until after the interns leave, because well, any trail improvements have to be approved by Metacomet and SVT, who will hold the conservation restrictions. And if there's any boardwalks, you're going to need permitting from the Conservation Commission, that kind of thing. And then one thing we can probably begin with,
Anything like District 9 where Metacomet or SVT would do some of the trails?
I don't know. Metacomet doesn't really have much capability.
Yeah.
We really haven't talked with SVT about that kind of thing yet. But that's a good question. And then also the parking area needs to be built, and where will the funding for that come from? And that could be a fall meeting appropriation. But I guess one step at a time. We this restriction that turned up during the title search really held us back for a long time. And we were hoping to close this way before June. Let's see. Warrenbrook Conservation Area trails and Pelp Farm boundary marking. Have not talked to Grafton yet or communicated with Grafton. Possible Eagle Scout nest boxes at Steffens. Haven't heard from Scout. Girl Scout tree planting project at Heritage Park. Marcella, is that anything? Should I cross that out? Maybe cross
Yeah,
both these out?
back to me. I've reached out several times, and if she wants to do it, she can get in touch.
Okay, so I think I'll cross out both the Stephens Farm and the Girl Scout one. Just to make this list short, if nothing else.
Hmm.
Let's see, and then Pleasant Woods Affordable Housing. Haven't heard anything from the Affordable Housing Trust about that. And Pleasant Woods Vernal Pool Certification. I don't think Mary's had time to do that, but she does have data from I think at least one very, very certifiable pool and maybe two at Pleasant Woods. That's all. That's my list. See, I guess the next question is any unanticipated topics or anything anyone wants to raise, any other things people want to talk about right now. I know Marcella, you sent me an email today earlier about end of fiscal year supply purchase. Do you want to talk about that?
Well, we can certainly use some more medallions for the trail marking, and I've given the last of them to Owen to start work at Warren Brook, because we don't have the trails very well marked there. And we've got some U trails too, so we want to make sure that those are marked. So I was gonna suggest that I be authorized to spend up to $1,000 or so for medallions and incidental stuff like nails. And if do we need flagging tape? It's something that I always feel like we use it, but I don't know if we need to make I don't know how much we have in the fund right now. I am assuming that we have the usual end of year, you know, call it
Spending spree.
but yeah, exactly. Like, and do we need lumber? I mean, what we've made purchases to, sort of thinking to the future. Do we,
Nails.
yeah,
Anything.
the nails, the aluminum nails, we should get some more of those.
Mhm.
Can anybody else think of something that we need for trail work? I think we're pretty well set with tools. We do have some town, like Land Stewardship Committee owns a bunch of tools, and we have I do know that we'll be needing, I think, some 4x4 posts, but I have to take a look at the inventory in the backyard here to see what we've got. But I can order those from Koopmans as well if we need them. That would be to install the we have them at the shed at Heritage Park. It's the interpretive panels, the
Mhm.
the display things that we put the materials into, and they get mounted on a post. They're designed to be mounted on a 4x4 post. So I can take a look and see, go back and see how many different sites we were going to put those at, and count up how much lumber we need. So that's all I can think of that we have an immediate need for. And do we need more wood that we would cut up for planking or decking that you?
I don't. We'd have to take a look, and I don't know how much is left at your house. There's some at Community Garden, Stephens, some
Here's
decking that could be cut up.
yeah. Well, there's a good bit here. I wouldn't jump up buying wood unless we actually have a reason to.
Yeah, maybe what we could use is maybe some 16-foot stringers, like maybe 3 of them, if you're going to order from Koopmans.
Where do you want
Get,
them delivered to?
they could be delivered to Stephens. if you want.
Um,
What
And-
about the bench that you were suggesting?
oh yeah, lumber for the bench.
It's 2x4s. Is that mostly 2x4? Or some of the benches you made?
Yeah, I don't remember now. I think it was, or well, I'll have to. I don't even know where that does. I'll probably just go online and find a design that works. Are there other places we want to put a bench? There are actually like two spots at the Robertson property that I think would be nice to have. Like one is where the waterway meanders, and then there's where the big, where the water rushes.
Mm.
And that's kind of a cool place to observe the stream. So, are there any other places that we do?
The one at Stephens, the upper field, that's in pretty rough shape. I don't know if that just needs to get replaced up there. But that's in, yeah, that's not doing very well anymore.
Okay, so that's 3. Anything at Warren Brook or Peppercorn Hill? I don't know if we, I can't think of any place in particular that needs something like
District 9, does that have any place? Not really.
yeah. I mean, it's always kind of nice to have a bench at the parking areas, but I to be honest with you, I don't have time to build them, so
Yeah,
it would probably be passed off to a scout or to our interns, but we've got plenty for them to do. But it could be a good scout project, like make half a dozen benches for us to
yeah. They can
install.
put their name right on the back. That's what they like, right? Put their name on.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm happy to make the lumber purchase, but I won't have the time to do any construction.
And that has to happen before July 1.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, Marcella, if you do the lumber purchase what you need, but I would just ask for 3 4x6 16-foot stringers. At least one boardwalk's going to be needed at Forest Heights. It's a stream crossing, quite a ways in. There probably will be more, but for now, that's the only one I know of for sure.
How many stringers did you say?
3.
3. Okay. And that's 4x6 16-footers.
Yep.
Maybe some of those green fence posts. I was thinking like in Warren Brook, like the trail that comes in from Grafton Street. There's really no trail markers if you're coming in over that gravel area that we put in. It'd be nice to have some trail markers that, you could attach a medallion on to get them going onto the trail there.
Yeah, that's not
It's a good
bad
idea.
Do we want to use, like you're talking about those metal ones that you pound into the
Yeah,
ground?
I think that when they surveyed Pell Farm and they kind of they put some up along the boundary there as well through that meadow area. So I think something like that would be good. It would last. It wouldn't rot out either. So
Yeah, that's a good thought. I'll next time I'm over there, I'll take a look at what they did, and I'm sure you could either get those at Koopman's or just any hardware store probably.
yeah, Home Depot, wherever. Yeah.
Ocean State.
Okay. Well, I make a motion
Okay.
to authorize Marcella to spend up to $1,000 for various land stewardship supplies, including medallions, trail medallions, nails, flagging tape, lumber, pressure-treated lumber, and metal fence posts.
I'll second.
The
Oh.
metal fence posts and the lumber, I could easily spend $500 on medallions alone. They're $1.50 each,
Oh.
and we could use several hundred of them on the trails. So,
So it's friendly amendment, then you want to go up to like 1,500?
that would be great. Yeah. So,
with the caveat that we need to check with Lauren from the to make sure we have that amount of funding available in the
okay,
the FY expiring FY account.
okay, I'll get in touch with her and find out what the story is there.
Okay, so that's a motion, kind of.
I'll second it.
Second by Liva. Any further discussion? Right, Mike, aye.
Bye.
Eric, I.
Scott, I.
Marcella,
Right, thanks, Marcella. Thanks for doing
Thank you.
I love spending other people's money. That's
Lulu wants to amend the motion. She said something about
oh,
treats, but
Mhm.
it's
biscuits,
too late. I told her it's
Biscuits?
too late.
milk bones.
Yeah, she missed out. That's next fiscal year. So any other topics? Work dates. We could try to schedule something at the Robertson property to flag that trail.
Did Kathy talk to the abutter, and is he amenable to
He
going on?
is. The butter's amenable to it.
Okay,
So that's, but well, you have to see. I think from what Kathy's offering, I mean, I think her alternative is better than either of the other ones. You know, it's much better than the switchback trail. And it seemed better than the Butters trail. You know, it most of it would be right along Warren Brook, so you'd have a view of Warren Brook as we walked along it, and it'd be really nice.
but that's a lot of big wetland crossing there, isn't it?
There may be some wetland to cross right when you get near Fowler. The rest of it's high and dry.
You're talking
But
to the right of her driveway, right? That area?
yes, if you're facing you back to the road, it's to the right of her driveway. Yeah,
Yeah. Seemed pretty low through that whole area there.
yeah, it might need some boardwalks.
Yeah. Well,
Mm.
that's why I kind of like the abutters parcel, because you would go by a nice vernal pool and it wouldn't involve any boardwalks at all over on that side.
Well, let's have a site visit. Take another look at it, and look at both areas.
Okay.
Let's maybe towards the end of June. I'm kind of stretched out, and not a big fan of doing a lot of walking anyway. But and can we set a date, Scott? Do you want to try to, or do you
Let's
want to
see.
wait on that?
Yeah, let me look at my calendar. I mean, towards the end of June, or like in a week or so.
Well,
I mean, I'm
what-
available like June 13th if you want to do that Saturday, June 13th.
Possibly. I've got there's something going on there. Well, it's just like the town HCRWs. I was on a day, but I
Okay.
was going to take some stuff there. But I
We could do
could.
the 20th would be okay as well. So either one of those.
Why don't we say the 20th?
Okay.
If you don't mind. So that's, and now we can touch base with Kathy and see if that's okay with her.
So it's a site visit and a possible flagging of the trail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
Just as a aside, I met with our interns at District 9 last week to look at some invasives out there, and we were going to take care of get started on the glossy buckthorn. And they, on the way out, we noticed a patch of garlic mustard right over the bridge when you come in. And I gave them a bag to kind of fill that up, and I could have gave them like 12 bags, and I
Of course.
didn't have enough. It had to be the biggest patch of garlic mustard I've seen in Upton. But they did a really good job, cleaning it up. I think it's going to be a couple-year project to get rid of it, but I just actually got rid of it out of my pickup today down in the DPW dumpster. But it filled up about half my back of my bed of the pickup with garlic mustard. It was amazing.
Yeah, what do you do once we bag it? What do you do with your bags?
Well,
Oh,
it was in, it pulls up real easy, but
Yeah.
the seeds were already set. There was in full seed. So if you just left it there, the seeds would have, sprouted again the next spring. So you have to get rid of it.
And what do you do with them? You put
I
them in.
brought it to the dumpster, DPW dumpster, and they'll bring it to the landfill or probably the incinerator is where it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
I think
kept it in like black plastic bags.
To
for 2
suffocate
years,
it.
And
Oh,
then
2 years.
and
Yeah.
it hasn't sprouted. I put it in my compost and it's just fine.
Oh,
But
oh.
I gave it 2 years just to be safe.
Yeah, maybe next year if we can get to it before it's set seed, we could kind of just let it compost out
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once the seeds happen,
Cool. Well, thanks for and yeah, if anyone thinks of things for the interns to do, just let Mary know or let me know or Scott. Keep those guys busy. There's one thing I forgot to talk about in my list. I skipped over it accidentally. That's Stefan's Farm field mowing and field edges. One other thing we could potentially have the interns do is help to clear brush and small trees back from the field edges at Stefan's. And what I'd like to do, if it's all right with everybody, is get a hold of Greg Trussell and go up there with him and the interns and you guys, whoever wants to go up there, and maybe identify an area where we could do some field maintenance later this summer with the interns and Greg. Greg's fee is around $1,200 a day, which includes his Bobcat. So for the larger stuff, he possibly, or small. And Greg also would bring a chainsaw. So between his chainsaw, his Bobcat, and interns, we could maybe make some progress. Field edges. So that sound like something reasonable? Or...
Yeah. Well, what's our our balance in our our fund there? Do we know what we have for money available?
Well, we have a fair amount available in the land stewardship fund. I don't know the exact numbers, but I think there's around 10,000 or so.
That's the revolving fund.
Yeah. And then as July 1st, we'll have more funding from the fiscal year budget, the new fiscal year.
Yeah, I'd be happy to go up there with you, Mike. I mean, I don't mind doing the chainsawing work, but it would certainly help to have somebody drag the stuff into a brush pile. I did a lot last fall up in some of those meadows, but it'd be nice if we could use the interns for that, and then have Greg doing the mowing. But I'd be, happy to do that chainsawing work as long as we have help to drag it out.
Okay.
Or drag it in, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if somebody finds a date, I could send out the volunteer notice just for drag and brush. Some people might be willing to do that.
Yeah. I mean, that's something I think we can get volunteers that we could save some money on doing that sort of stuff, and save the money for the mowing and stuff that we can't do up there.
Okay. Okay. So
I guess see Greg's availability and the interns, and then let me know and I'll send something out.
So Scott, are you saying you'd rather not involve Greg, or
Not well. I would like to involve him certainly for the mowing up there that we
Okay.
need to do, but for some of that brush clearing, I think
Okay.
that's something that we can do with volunteers.
Okay.
I know what I did last fall, and it's a lot easier if you have many hands to drag the stuff in. That's the most intensive part of it. The chainsaw, most of that stuff's pretty small and it cuts up real fast. It's just what do you do with it after you cut it?
Mhm.
That's the hard part there.
And would we be doing what, I remember one time we just like scattered the cuttings all over the field. That's, you don't want to make a big pile, just scattered it around. What's,
I think it depends. You could do both. You could either, if it's small enough, you can leave it in the field and you can mow right over it. Or if it's larger, you can make brush piles. That's what I did last fall. I made some brush piles up by like the upper meadow areas up there into the woods, get it out of the field. And
okay.
I think I made a brush pile at the first field you come to. There was a lot of that glossy buckthorn. I just made like one pile in the field there. So it's good rabbit habitat.
Right. Bird nesting and everything.
We
Yeah,
need
yeah, they
those.
use it.
Okay. Well, Scott, why don't you think about and propose a time when we can go up there with the
Okay.
interns. You know,
Okay.
and then just you have their email address, I think, right?
Yeah, well,
You do?
I'll work with Mary and just,
Yeah, yeah.
see what their
Okay.
schedule is. And yeah, if they have a free day, yeah, I can meet them up there and decide, or we can actually do some of that work up there as well.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. Thanks. So that's the only thing I missed, I think. So I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
I'll
move.
make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
So moved.
Second. All right.
All in favor?
Michael.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Bye.
Mike.